What if everything you've been told about menopause was wrong? What if suffering wasn't normal and instead this season of your life could actually feel your most vibrant, energetic, and even sexiest self yet? That's not what I was taught in medical school. In fact, like most doctors, I was told menopause is just something women endure. The hot flashes, the weight gain, the brain fog, the loss of intimacy. We were taught to medicate or operate away symptoms or to reassure women that this was simply normal. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right with that answer. I saw it in my own mother's struggles. And then I felt it in my own body when I was diagnosed with early menopause at age 39, completely squashing my dreams of having another child. And let me tell you, being dismissed by colleagues, being told that's just how it is when you're in the middle of your own suffering, that changes you. That lit a fire in me. I kept asking myself, why wasn't I taught to really help women through this? Why should we just accept that menopause means decline? That's when I did the scariest and honestly the best thing of my career. I emptied out my doctor's bag. I said, if I don't have the answers, I'm going to find them. And let me tell you, what I uncovered completely changed my life. And not only reversed my own early menopause symptoms, but I went on to have a baby in my 40s. And then again at age 46, reversed all my full blown perimenopause symptoms in less than 6 weeks. I discovered firsthand that menopause isn't the end of the story, it's a second spring. And that journey is why we're here today. We are stepping into season 12 of Magic Menopause. 12 seasons of helping women reclaim their health, their joy, their intimacy, and so much more. And now I'm finally sharing something I've been working on for over 2 years, and that's my Magic Menopause certification course. So more women around the world never have to feel dismissed, silenced, or lost like I once did. So, in today's episode, I want to take you behind the curtain of my own story, the burning questions I asked myself along the way, the incredible transformations that I've been blessed to witness in other women, and what's next in this movement that we have started together. Because let me tell you, menopause is not something to survive, it is your second spring. So, let's get into it. Well, I think back to my first glimpse of menopause, not in my own body, but actually in my mother's. I watched her suffer. I watched her mood, her energy, her joy, her joie de vivre and vitality fade. And I remember asking myself quietly, is this what I have to look forward to? I can remember hugging her as a young girl because when I was 16, she was 52, and she was already back and forth to the doctor with issues with diabetes and heart disease and now requiring cardiac bypass surgery. But I remember one hug one morning that I gave her as we got up for coffee, and she was tender. Like she said, "Oh, that's too tight." Like her whole body hurt, her breast hurt, and were tender. And that had started earlier on, but none of these symptoms were addressed. And it really broke my heart to watch her suffer the way she did. And I really, at that point, at 16, I started digging into the research to look at, okay, what are they doing for my mother? What's this research, this cardiac bypass surgery? What is that about? What's it based on? And I found out that it was all based on research um, on men. And I was like, okay, well, how does that pertain to my mother? Well, that question really lingered with me throughout the years, as well as the underlying desire to understand the underlying conditions that caused her to suffer so much. Even as I became a doctor, that question stayed in the back of my mind. And then one day, it wasn't just about my mom anymore, it was about me. When I was diagnosed with early menopause at 39, it shook me to my core. I went to my colleagues for support and for answers. And you know what I was told? Well, Anna, this is just normal. This is what happens. And in that moment, another question rose up in me. If this is normal, why does it feel so wrong? Why do I feel like my whole world is crumbling? Why am I so broken? How could this happen to me? That's when I realized I'd been trained really to medicate the symptoms to manage decline, but never to truly heal at the most cellular levels. So I did the scariest and best thing of my career. Yep. I emptied out my doctor's bag and I said, if I don't have the answers, I will find them. And let me tell you, that decision changed everything. What I found through my research, prayer, traveling around the world, learning from indigenous healers from Eastern and Western modalities, and trying it in my own body, all of this came together and it showed me that menopause doesn't have to be the end of anything. It absolutely can be the beginning. And I think of this now because I was thinking about this morning that here I am still in the first half of my life. Well, if we can live healthfully to 120 years old, I'm 59, so I'm entering my 60th year. So I'm still in the first half of my life. So how do I want the second half of my life to look like? And that's what I want to share with you today too. I want this legacy to continue and I want you to feel empowered and realize, oh my gosh, I've got so much life ahead of me. I've got so much, passion and joy just waiting for me to receive it. So let me tell you what I did. I reversed my symptoms with the grace of God. I restored my health. I even went on to have a baby in my 40s. And in that process, I kept asking myself, if I can do this, how many other women could? What tools and truths have been hidden from us? How can we shift the story of menopause from suffering to empowerment? And I always say, while menopause is natural and mandatory, suffering is optional. And let's make this journey into our enchantress stage a really empowering journey. Those questions led me to do the work I do now and to being here with you and sharing this information, hopefully inspiring you to take one next right step after another. Now, I want to share with you some of the burning questions I once asked myself, questions I hear every day from women inside and outside of my community or patient base. And with each one, I'll give you a girlfriend tip, something you can try today to shift your journey, very simply and foundational. So, first question, how do I stop these hot flashes and night sweats? I remember lying in bed, tossing and turning, foot over the covers, under the covers, covers on, covers off, and waking up exhausted and thinking, how can I live like this? Well, here's a tip, get rid of the wine and sugar. Just cut it out. Hard line here, cut out the wine and sugar at night. Instead, create a soothing bedtime ritual, maybe a blend of bedtime cocktails, like I call our supplement stack. Maybe it's some herbal tea, prayer and journaling, meditation. All of these things send small signals and tell your body, it's safe now. You can rest. Rest means fewer night sweats. When we rest, we rejuvenate, and it's so important. The second question is, why am I gaining weight even though I'm not doing anything different? I'm eating the same or even less. Well, I remember when I was 46 and think, okay, wait, I just gained 20 pounds without doing anything different. And I said, literally, I haven't been doing anything different. What else, what is going on here? And I dug into the research. I started to change things. I remember during that time, though, I was looking in the mirror in disbelief. I'm like, wait, I lost 80 pounds and kept it off. And now these 20 pounds are coming back on. When maybe it'll reach 300 pounds before this stop. I have to do something. I have to figure this out. Well, the truth is, our bodies do shift in menopause. So we need to fuel differently. Nutrition and lifestyle has to shift. No question about it. We have to do something different in order to em- empower our body to be as helpful and vital as possible. Okay, so here's the girlfriend doctor tip. Focus on what you eat, not just how much. At keto-green is what I like to say. Prioritize protein, healthy fats, fiber, lots of alkalinizing greens and fermented food. Get those broccoli sprouts on your plate. And intermittent fasting is a must. It is absolutely a must. Your body will thank you for it. All right, here's the third question. Where did my desire go? Where is my energy? Like, I can remember being so fatigued and dragging myself up, dragging three daughters up. We one in elementary school, one in middle, and one in high school, and driving them to school because we missed the bus and saying, okay, we got to stop for coffee because I don't know that I'll make it all the way there and we're already late. I remember that. Like, I was dragging, like, just pulling myself throughout the day. Oh, yeah. I whispered all those questions. I felt flat and disconnected. And what I found was the power of oxytocin. It was so key for me, the most alkalinizing hormone of our body, the most rejuvenating, the most re energizing. That power of oxytocin was key. So here's my girlfriend doctor tip. Wake up with positive mindset. Focus on what you love, what you're grateful for. And there's so much, really. It is a skill sometimes that has to be honed to focus on all the things that we can be grateful for. And hug longer, laugh more, do things that make you smile, that you enjoy doing, dancing, playing with your pets, going out for a walk in nature, going hanging out with girlfriends that always make you laugh. I have this mantra: pause, breathe, smile, and connect. I really do. That helps support oxytocin. So whatever you're doing, if you find yourself um, starting to spiral, having fearful thoughts, angry thoughts, anxiety, just pause. It's like Joe Dispenza says, use the word change. Just change the trajectory. So I say pause, look into someone's eyes, make eye contact, smile, and connect. Gosh, things get, I just thinking about it, it lifts your physiology. That's an oxytocin moment, my friends. And then throw in a hug, kiss, whew, even better. These simple moments of connection light up your hormones and bring back your spark. Oxytocin is the most powerful hormone of our body. It is why I emphasize it in my programs, all of them, and why it's so essential part of my daily practice and daily routine. Because I can spiral out just like anyone. Trauma, PTSD. I'm not going to tell you all the trauma, the depths of despair I've been in, but that is key to pulling myself up by my bootstraps, as the expression goes. That is key for me to living a quality, healthy, happy life that is loving and one in which I feel loved. All right, the fourth question. Am I tired because of menopause or because I'm stressed out? Well, I discovered they are connected. Stress hormones steal from our sex hormones. That's right. Stress hormones steal from our sex hormones. So here's my girlfriend doctor tip. Before reacting, pause for 5 slow breaths. Just that simple. That gets you out of sympathetic into parasympathetic. That practice lowers cortisol and gives your body space to rebalance. It is key. During that stress cycle, we're plummeting progesterone and pregnenolone. And even without that stress, progesterone and pregnenolone decrease by 75% from age 35 to 55. So that's a mother hormone from which we make all our other hormones. So think of that. So how do we have to replenish and support oxytocin? That is key. All right. Here's question number 5. Is this really menopause or is something else wrong with me? Wow. Okay. I get it. I've been there. The confusion, the fear. How many women do I hear from that have been diagnosed with anxiety disorders, bipolar disorders, depression, um, cardiac arrhythmias, frozen shoulder, all of these things that, like, we can just start running down a list of prescriptions. And that makes me reflect back on my mother's journey. By the time she passed away way too prematurely at age 67, she was on 13 different medications. And the symptoms, as I can look back now with much wiser eyes, the symptoms she had were side effects to these medications. And the damage of one in particular affected her heart and her lungs and crashed her body. So, what if we can rebuild and rejuvenate? Our body is designed to do that. It is key, and it takes more than hormones to fix our hormones. So, first of all, when you're feeling that, is it menopause or something else? Here's my girlfriend, Dr. Tip. Track your symptoms, sleep, your moods, your cycles, your energy patterns, and you will see some patterns emerge. When you walk into your doctor's office informed, you're no longer dismissed. You're empowered. You know the questions to ask. You're able to pinpoint, this isn't in my head, this is what's happening, and if there's any patterns here. Really important. These questions really changed my life, and they continue to change the lives of the women I walk with, because when you ask the right questions, you will always uncover the right path, your next right step. So now I want to share with you why I created the Magic Menopause program. So these are the questions I asked myself. What if I could take the pain I experienced and transform it into hope for other women? And what if menopause wasn't a burden, but a rebirth, like the caterpillar coming out of the cocoon as a butterfly? I love that visual. And I feel menopause is symbolically a representation of that. So when I was 46 and I was struggling and I was stopping for coffee in the morning on the way to taking the kids to school, I had dug deep and found answers to these questions through nutrition and lifestyle, because look, hormones were dialed in. I was already a hormone expert, but something was missing. I had to master other major hormones that were even more important than our reproductive hormones. I had to get deep into the research. I had to understand. And that's how I built my keto-green method, my Magic Menopause program. I remember as I did this, and I was checking urine pH and ketones, had test strips for each in the bathroom, everywhere. I mean, there was a lot going on. And as I was my own experiment, my N of one during this time. And within 6 weeks, I lost 18 of the 20 pounds I had gained. I went from being discombobulated, brain fog, confused, and exhausted to getting up, feeling empowered, energized. My kids would wake up for school, kiss me on their way out, catch the bus on time. I'm telling you guys, take care of yourself and the whole family gets better. It was transformative. And since then, I've wrote 3 best-selling books. I built many programs, products to help you, me, and you on this journey from midlife and beyond, and to help others early in the journey that want fertility. And even after being told they couldn't have it. And this is like, that just lights me up so much. So as part of that journey, in my living room, I called in 8 of my most complicated patients. And I said, look, this is something that I've done. I'm putting it, like, I want to see if this works for you. And that's how my Magic Menopause program was born in 2014, with 8 women in my living room every week, once a week, going through all of these steps that I share with you in my Magic Menopause program. Now, I have tailored it over the years and updated it and transformed it and honed it, and I even made it better over the years. That is for sure. Each new course is I would say a little better and unique, because our audience is unique, and I just love it. So This is where I've seen clients like uh, Tracy, who lost over 130 pounds. She'd been struggling with food addictions and weight loss resistance and fatigue and joint aches, and felt like she couldn't exercise because it hurt too much. Plus, she didn't like the way she looked to go to the gym. It was all those things. And she, through a friend of mine, a colleague, Dr. Angeli Akey out of Gainesville, Florida, a Yale trained and integrative medicine specialist, she started my keto-green method and then followed the steps in my Magic Menopause program to a T. In over a year and a half, 2 years, she lost 130 pounds, is like showing up her best self, has more energy than she had in her 30s. So I love hearing that. And oh, so many favorites. Tracy, who, another horse lover like myself and a tinkerer, as she called herself, was again struggling with the perimenopausal symptoms and the hot flashes and the difficulty sleeping. Through Magic Menopause, she found a new lease, a new way, of ability to advocate for herself in her life, with her family, with her doctors, and so much more. And she continues to thrive and do so well. I have so many stories of women, and I'll share a link so you can look at some of those stories too. But there are literally thousands, and that keeps me doing this. I'm really inspired to do this. So that could be you too. You know, eliminate hot flashes, lose extra weight you don't need, right? Like release. We like to say release extra weight you don't need. Feel re-energized and confident. So in season 12, we'll be helping hundreds more women transform menopause into their sexiest, healthiest chapter. And that's key. So we're launching that. And I'm going to put a link below so you can join me in my free masterclass, Mastering Your Hormones Masterclass, to learn more about my Magic Menopause 8-week program, but also to have live interaction with me, coaching and teaching, diving deep into some key principles, including, do I medicate or not medicate? Hormones or not hormones? Is it right for me? What's going on? Is there hope? And you'll hear from other women how this really can transform your life too. So, another thing I've been working on for the last couple years is this part, which I believe is part of my legacy, my duty, my passion. I knew with Magic Menopause and continuing to spread it that I can't do it alone. So, this is why I created my Magic Menopause certification course after 2 years of development. So, it is an incredible way for coaches and health practitioners to help women through Magic Menopause as well. There are millions of women, and I can't do it alone. If you're a coach or a practitioner, I need your help. I warmly invite you to join this so that we create a generation of practitioners and coaches who will never dismiss women like I was dismissed. We want those trusted sources with a trusted process, method, and protocols to help each and every one of us find our way, find our own path, and live our passions. So when I look back at my journey, I realized that I wasn't searching only for answers for myself. Well, yes, I wanted to reverse my own suffering. That is true. Okay. That is absolutely true. But what I truly wanted was to make sure no other woman had to go through what my mother went through, what I went through, to never again feel dismissed, silenced, or told that suffering was just normal. That's why I created Magic Menopause. From my own struggles came this program that has now helped women across the world reclaim their health, their joy, their energy. And here we are today, entering our 12 seasons of women stepping into their power, discovering that menopause can be their second spring, their most vibrant, and yes, their sexiest chapter yet. more body confidence. I mean, I raise my hand to that. More body confidence, more passion, more open to the beloved, more aware and passionate than ever before. Okay, are you raising your hand? But as much as I truly love guiding women, every woman who comes to the program, I knew deep down that I could only reach so many on my own. And so over these 2 years, I've been pouring my heart and soul into creating the Magic Menopause certification course. Together, we can change the story of menopause for ourselves, for our daughters, and for the generations to come. So here's my invitation. If you're walking through the season of life before, during, or after menopause and want to thrive instead of survive, come join me for season 12 of Magic Menopause. Listen to participate in my free masterclass, Mastering Your Hormones, and we'll put the link here. There'll be information at dranna.com as well. And if you're ready to be part of this movement, to carry this message into your own practice and your own community, then the certification course was made for you. All of the details are at dranna.com. For interest in certification course, you can also email team@drannacabeca.com, team@drannacabeca.com. So with all this said, I wanted to share a little bit of my story with you and the passion behind the programs and the creation of the process, and to remind you that menopause isn't the end, it's your beginning. It is your second spring. And now we get to walk it together. So I thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this community. And as always, sending you love. I love being your girlfriend doctor. Till next time, spring. And now we get to walk
Thanks
it together.
for watching another episode
So
of
I
the
thank you for
Girlfriend
being
Doctor
here.
podcast.
Thank you for being part
Check out
of
all the
this
links
community.
below for more.
And as always, sending you love. I love being your girlfriend doctor. Till next time, God bless.